ChatGerry TSI de-evolution and early warning by detecting transition before symptoms. Number 1594, the 11th of April 2026. Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation. Category: Stroke and Cardiovascular Diseases. TSI is an early warning indicator designed to detect instability in a nonlinear biomedical system before symptoms of stroke or heart attack appear. TSI-2 uses blood pressure information only, including pulse pressure PP equals SBP DBP and systolic blood pressure SBP, to represent the mechanical stress applied to blood vessels. Pulse pressure reflects arterial stiffness and loss of elasticity, while systolic blood pressure represents the peak force applied to vessel walls during each heartbeat. TSI-3b adds glucose E to represent long-term metabolic damage from diabetes. When these three factors are combined, they describe the interaction among chronic vessel damage, arterial stiffness, and instantaneous pressure loading. Using 90-day moving averages helps remove daily fluctuations and reveals the true direction of the body's condition over time. On June 21, 2025, I suffered a hemorrhagic stroke triggered by a sudden surge in systolic blood pressure to 175 mmHg, even though I did not have a long history of chronic hypertension. After this life-threatening event, I began measuring my blood pressure about 20 times per day. This high-frequency monitoring allowed me to detect temporary spikes that would normally be missed by a single daily measurement or quarterly clinic visit. My long history of diabetes had already caused gradual calcification and stiffening of blood vessels in my brain, making them less flexible and more vulnerable to sudden blood pressure surges. In other words, my brain blood vessel structure had already weakened over many years, and the sudden blood pressure spike acted as the final trigger of my stroke. After the 2nd of August 2025, both TSI-2 and TSI-3b stabilized within a safe range between 80 and 100. This improvement reflected better glucose control, lower pulse pressure, and fewer extreme SBP spikes. When examining the 19-month period surrounding the stroke event, including 9.5 months before and 9.5 months after June 21, 2025, both TSI indices reached their highest levels near the stroke date. This pattern suggests that stroke is not a random event. Instead, stroke results from the interaction between long-term structural damage caused by diabetes and an acute mechanical trigger from a sudden blood pressure surge. TSI equals SBP DBP 45x SBP 120x glucose 120x amplifier. Amplifier reflects duration of diabetes damage, 100 for diabetes 10 years, 110 for diabetes 10 to 20 years, 120 for diabetes 20 years. TSI functions as a transition detector or warning signal rather than a medical diagnosis tool. It provides real-time feedback that allows individuals to make immediate lifestyle adjustments, including moderating food intake, walking after meals, and practicing slow breathing exercises such as inhaling for 4 seconds and exhaling for 8 seconds, repeatedly for 4 to 5 cycles. These simple daily actions can influence blood pressure, stability, and metabolic balance without waiting for quarterly laboratory results. This approach creates an engineering-style feedback loop that allows the body condition to be observed continuously and adjusted early before serious damage occurs. The formulation of TSI follows Newton's multiplicative principle, expressed as F equals m times A. In this biomedical analogy, stroke risk develops from the interaction among glucose, pulse pressure PP equals SBP DBP, and systolic blood pressure SBP. Glucose represents long-term structural damage to blood vessel walls, pulse pressure reflects arterial stiffness, and systolic blood pressure represents the peak impact force applied to the vascular system. Blood vessels behave similarly to viscoelastic materials that are exposed to many years of repeated metabolic stress from elevated glucose and repeated mechanical stress from blood pressure fluctuations. Over time, this repeated loading gradually weakens structural integrity, increasing vulnerability to sudden failure events such as stroke. The key message is simple: stroke risk develops along a trajectory rather than from a single snapshot measurement. Continuous observation allows early detection of instability and provides the opportunity for timely lifestyle correction. After the 2nd of August 2025, both TSI indices remain low and stable, suggesting reduced probability of another stroke or heart attack. This stability reflects improvement in both metabolic condition and mechanical loading on the vascular system. The TSI app is available free of charge on Apple's App Store. It does not require personal identity information and generate trajectory charts based only on user-entered glucose and blood pressure values. The goal is prevention, helping individuals detect risk earlier and reduce the likelihood of serious cardiovascular, cerebrovascular events through timely awareness and lifestyle adjustment. Disclaimer: I write this paper not for fame, but to share what I have learned so others can understand their health, prevent disease, and live longer, healthier lives. This content is for educational reference only, and no medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be altered or published as your own. All right belong to the author, Gerald C. This content is provided for educational reference only and does not constitute medical advice. No doctor-patient relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be altered, edited, or republished as your own. All intellectual property rights and copyrights for this article and its related materials belong to the author, Gerald C.